Hello, everyone, and welcome to Menopause Support Live with Eliza and Jennifer.
It
I'm
is a
Eliza
menopause
Riley.
chat, so it's okay.
I forgot where I was for a moment.
Just keeping it real.
Yeah. So I'm Eliza Riley. I am a holistic health coach who supports women through the ups, downs, and unexpected turns of peri to postmenopause. And I am so glad that you guys are here with us tonight, but I'll let Jen tell us about herself first.
And, and I am Jennifer Gilliland, and I am postmenopausal myself. So it is quite the journey. I'm a dietitian as well as a therapist, and I love supporting women in this space because I feel like it's a conversation we need to have more and more and more, and it's becoming more of a conversation, but we have kind of a ways to go. So I'm grateful to be here with Eliza and talk through some really great topics.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. I am still menopausal at 51. I've not missed a bleed yet. So I'm not quite where Jennifer is yet, but I'm sure I'll get there soon
Getting
enough.
there.
Yeah. So I am so glad that you guys are here with us tonight, whether you're joining us live or catching the replay. This space is all about honest conversations, supportive community, and real strategies to help you feel like yourself again. Before we dive in, just a quick note, while Jennifer and I both have experience supporting women through perimenopause and beyond, we are not your personal practitioners. What we share tonight is for educational purposes only and not meant to replace medical advice. Always consult with your own healthcare provider before making changes to your routine. And if you have any questions about that, please ask. That's what we're here for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it okay if I just dive in?
Absolutely, please
So
do.
I'm really excited about talking about something tonight. So I was just out of town and I had some time to kind of reflect and think about, kind of my own personal journey with menopause and um, just kind of the ups and downs, right? So there's so many things that can come into our day to day, whether it's special celebrations or holidays or vacation or anything that sort of interrupts the norm. And I have a lot of clients for one reason or another that have been talking about this too, where they feel like it's vacation or it's a special celebration. So like the rules don't really apply, right? And I don't like food rules. I don't like, rules about our body and that kind of thing. But when we talk about just sort of general guidelines or general ideas of how we want to live our lives, how we're choosing to show up for our bodies and ourselves emotionally, mentally, physically, all the things, it just got me thinking about like, I would love personally to be in a place where every day is a vacation, that I'm treating my body so great and in such a healthy and positive way that every day feels like I'm celebrating life, right? And that may sound a little like rainbows and unicorns, and I don't mean it to, but I think it's really important that we look at like what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, whether we feel like it's being done to us versus it's something that we get to decide about. And menopause is such a multifaceted, multi-layered diagnosis and issue, if you want to call it an issue, that I think it's a really great way to think about treating our bodies with more respect and more kindness, and then being able to celebrate every single day. So that's just
Yeah.
kind of what my random thoughts were like in the car when I was driving to Wyoming for 17 hours. But,
Absolutely. And I think you're so right. And it made what you were just sharing, it made me think about, last week, while you were away on your wonderful vacation. I asked a question in the menopause support group and in my own group. And I don't remember exactly how the question was worded. I think it was something like, what is one symptom that you weren't expecting or that no one told you about? And I was truly blown away. I mean, we still have, we have, I think, over 300
oh,
comments
wow.
on that post at this point because people are
Wow.
still chiming in with these symptoms. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we don't have over 300 different symptoms. There's a lot of repetition in there, but there is a lot of stuff that doesn't get spoken about, that just
Mhm.
doesn't get talked about nearly enough. And so I
Mhm.
think I think that it's, groups like these, it's so important to have the opportunity to say, here's that one weird thing I did not expect or didn't even realize was connected to my hormones.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And those weird symptoms and those weird things that are happening are always happening in the midst of life, right? So we're always kind of waiting for, I'm going to wait until this particular time when I'm less busy, I'm less stressed, I can get more sleep, I have more time, whatever, and then I'll take care of myself. And it's like, when are we going to get there?
Yeah,
Because we don't ever
exactly.
get there, So I think it's really key to think about, making that decision and making that choice to the best of our ability. And that's what I love. One of the things I love about the menopause support group is if you feel stuck, if you feel like, I don't know what to do with this, does anybody else have this symptom? It's amazing to me when somebody posts like a random weird symptom and then
Uh-huh.
150 people chime in like, oh yeah, you have that too, type of a thing. Because it's so common amongst us that we have a lot of generalities that we talk about, but I think we have a lot of similarities too. So, just knowing that we're not the only ones that are experiencing that.
That can be so huge. It can really, I mean, I think so often we have these weird symptoms and they can be frightening. You know,
Hmm.
when you have a weird symptom and you're just like, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea why I'm experiencing this. And when you go into a group like that and you say, hey, is anyone else experiencing this weird thing? And then you have 150 people who are like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Then you can get some calm from that. Like you can get some reassurance. You can get some distance from the thoughts that are, like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You can let go of some of that because then you realize, okay, it's not that crazy and it's not that weird and it's not that out there. And often you have people who are like, I did this, I did that thing for it. Like I did. You can get some suggestions. Another thing that you mentioned, another thing came up for me from what you mentioned is we so often, when it comes to healing our bodies, we put it off and put it off and put it off because we think that it has to be some big overhaul. Like you have to like completely change how you're eating. Like you have to completely, like you have to fast for 10 days or like you have to do something really crazy and out there. And and it my opinion is that it really is not that drastic. Like you can if you just make one switch today, like if you typically, I will tell you, this is from a woman I worked with many years ago. She used to drink a 12 pack of soda every day. 12 of the cans of soda. She would drink a 12 pack every single day. And so when I worked with her, it wasn't stop drinking soda. It was, can we cut it back to 10? Like can we just like still 10 is too many, but can we just cut it
Right.
back? And we're going to
Yeah.
replace those 10 with 2 cups of water. Like
Hmm.
just replacing a soda with a glass of water, if you have
Yep.
that many,
Yeah.
is a step
Yeah.
in the right direction. Like it
Sure.
doesn't have to be these giant life-changing overhauls. It can be just a simple tweak, just a
Mhm.
simple difference. It's a simple choice. And sometimes just making up your mind to do the thing, to do something different,
Is the change.
already sends you in
Yeah.
sends you in the right direction. Like it already gets you moving. It's such a uh, our mindset is such an amazing thing.
Mhm. It really is. It really is. And I actually had the opportunity to do a talk this week for 160 physical therapists and talking about nutrition and just kind of a different way of sort of motivating people to make the change. Because as human beings, we don't like change. None of us like change. We like what we like. We get in our own habits. We get in our own kind of in our own way sometimes and that kind of thing. And one of the things that I was really trying to stress to them is that in the midst of whatever else people are dealing with, so if there is a diagnosis of something, if there's some symptom that people are experiencing, um, we're still living life in the midst of that. So, like for myself, my youngest just moved out of our house, so we are empty nesters. Even the grand puppy is gone. Like he's so like it's so quiet in my house. It's crazy. So in the midst of all of that, I'm still in the midst of postmenopause, right? And I'm sure that there's what are there 185,000 women in the group? I think there's 185,000 different situations that people are in, right? And so it's important that we recognize that menopause is a piece. It's not the whole puzzle by any means, but it's kind of layered on top of everything else that's going on, whether from that, physical and emotional piece. So giving ourselves that ability to kind of take a step back every once in a while and be like, I'm doing a pretty darn good job, given everything that's going on. Because there are so many layers to life, and menopause is, I feel like once people are in menopause, it's like it's all consuming for a lot of ladies. And I can see why. I mean, we've never been here before, right? It's like having kids. You've never had kids before. You don't know how to be a parent until you become you have a kid. So we don't know how to be a menopausal woman until we're in menopause. And then we're learning as we're going, and we're feeling the hot flashes, and we're feeling the night sweats, and we're feeling the anxiety and all of those kinds of things. So um, I would love for everyone to just kind of take a pause and, give themselves a little celebratory clap. Like you're doing really good.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a good point. I think there's so many things in life. There are so many things in life, like having children, going through menopause,
Yeah,
that you can read about it, and you can read all the books, but it's theory
yeah,
until you're actually doing it. Like
yeah,
you don't really know until you're actually doing it, until you're actually going through it.
yeah, 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 for sure. Um, I also think that food in particular is a really vulnerable space for people because it represents so much about who we are, how we grew up, what our traditions were. Did we learn how to cook when we were younger? Did we not learn how to cook? Was there a lot of fast food and all those kinds of things? So when we're asking people to make changes, I don't know if you find this with people that you're working with, Eliza, but I'm sure in one way, and in some ways you probably do. Um, we're asking them to change something that's so near and dear to their heart. It's just so known to people. And so I really encourage women to think about, we're not just changing the physical, eating more chicken or eating more salmon or whatever. Like we're definitely changing that inside too, and having to give up some things or consider giving up some things or changing some things that we don't really want to. But it's also tied to an emotional piece, right? If we were given a cookie when we skinned our knee, like we equate that with somebody making us feel better. So to say like we need to decrease the sweets, and it's so funny because a lot of the clients that I work with are, they're like, I'm just going to give up sweets. I just don't want to eat them anymore. And I'm like, but you like them. Like,
Right.
why take all of them away?
Right.
So finding that moderation and that kind of balance to what we're doing, I think is so, so very important. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
I call it crowding out. I don't do elimination anything.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, for
Like the
sure.
12 sodas, it's not about like, okay, we're
Right.
not getting rid of sodas. We're
Mhm.
simply we're gonna have more water, and then we end up being less thirsty for the sodas, or
Yeah.
something else. So we find something to replace a
Hmm.
healthier replacement. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I
Crowd
had
out.
I think I had somebody once that was drinking is it 2 liters of Mountain Dew a day?
Oh my gosh.
It's like, wow, that's a lot of, and then eating like Twinkies or something.
Sure. You dip them in the Mountain Dew, you have no idea.
Right. Super tasty. So, oh,
Probably not
so
much left of a Twinkie if you dipped it in Mountain Dew.
that's probably true. Although they will survive the apocalypse, I've heard. So,
Sure, yeah, yeah.
they
Twinkies
are they
will
are
never.
very hardy. Um, But I think too, like just as we're approaching kind of, I'm in Ohio, so it's getting colder, it's getting darker. I can already feel like my energy level decreasing as the night goes on because it's like when the sun sets, it's like, oh, I could be in bed right now. 7:30 is not necessarily the time I need to go to bed though. Um, but but knowing that like the holidays are here and are coming and all of the fall festivities and things like that, just I know that can be very challenging for people, to really feel like I have to give up all of the things that make me happy type of a thing. And it's like you don't. We just have to figure out how to make that a part of kind of that routine.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a challenge. It's an absolute challenge. But I would love to see here in the group more of like what people are struggling with as we do the seasonal transition, and kind of what they're finding, what's working. Because I think that's really empowering to be able to share some of those things that are actually working to kind of keep people on track and that kind of thing too.
Absolutely. I mentioned to you before, but Saturday was my mom's memorial service, and um, everyone brought a food dish, like you do, and we all met at my mom's house and hung out. Family all hung out, and I brought food that like I knew that when I got there, it was going to be a lot of stuff that I don't want to put in my body right now.
Right.
So stuff that wasn't going to make me feel good. So
Sure.
I brought food that I could eat.
Hmm.
I brought meats and sides and stuff that were conducive to how I feel. And it's interesting because not that long ago, well, doesn't feel like that long ago, but several years ago, I probably would have been much more self-conscious about
Hmm.
bringing salad,
Right.
I actually brought like gluten-free bread, like
Hmm.
they don't eat that, but I do.
Right.
And
Right.
so it works for me.
Hmm.
Dairy-free stuff is, I don't do cheeses and stuff because dairy doesn't sit in my stomach very well. So I brought things that made me happy and settled my stomach, especially on such a stressful day. But it can be really difficult to show up like that.
Hmm.
It's so important to show up for yourself.
Hmm.
And I will tell you that um, uh, not one person said anything about,
Right.
like no one gave me any flack about it. No one made me feel bad about the choices that I made and the food that I brought. In fact, a lot of people were like, "Oh my gosh, this is like
Yeah.
gluten-free. Wow, that's really good."
Hmm.
I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's so important. It's not to say that you can't go to a party and enjoy whatever
Sure.
is there, but maybe you choose not to have a whole plate of something that is going to not feel good in your body
Right.
later. So maybe that's where you lean more heavily on the things that do feel good and just have a bite or two of the things that you just really enjoy and know that it's not going to feel so good.
Yeah, I think it's recognizing that it's a choice, right?
Exactly.
That we don't have to. I was talking to a client years ago, and she said that her granddaughter asked for sweet potatoes in February, and she was like, "Huh, we never make the Thanksgiving sweet potatoes in February." She's like, "Sure." So she made them, because we have this thought process of like we get this whatever it is once a year or every once in a while, and it's like if you want whatever it is tomorrow or the next week or the next month, you can make it. There's no boundaries to like it's only good in November or December. But I think that's part of it, right? Is it's that it's vacation food or it's special occasion food or it's birthday food or it's Thanksgiving food or whatever, Christmas food. So like really making sure that we're approaching any celebration or any kind of variation from our day to day with that understanding of we get to decide if we eat a couple of bites of it or if we eat the whole thing. I mean, there's certainly been things that I'm like, no, this is really good, and I'm gonna eat this and probably not eat something else, but I'm gonna focus on the things that I really enjoy. And that whole balance, I think balance is a really hard thing for all of us, depending on how we're feeling that day, how much energy we have, kind of what's going on, externally. I was just talking to somebody earlier about we have to have like find it within ourselves a little bit too, or actually a lot, because other people can tell us certain things, like even you and I are like sharing information and giving guidance and that kind of thing. But it's the people that are going to benefit the most are the ones that are kind of taking that to heart and seeing how does that play out in my life and what
Yeah.
does that look like for me. And that's not selfish. That's absolutely amazingly wonderful taking care of yourself. And if we all learned to take care of ourselves just a little bit better, I think we'd feel better. We'd have less anxiety and hot flashes and all that kind of stuff too. So it all kind of flows together.
Yeah, and that's where it comes back to one of the first thing that I suggest women do when you're trying to figure out what feels good in your body. It can be so difficult when we're just kind of like, well, this was my day, and you look at the whole thing and you go like, well, today I don't feel good. Yes, here's what I did yesterday, and you can't pinpoint where the feel bad came from. So it's
Right.
so important to start writing down things like just and not a big, it doesn't have to be this big journaling thing, but write down what you eat and how you feel. So that you can so that they're because they're breadcrumbs. It's not you're not just writing it down for the heck of it. You're writing it down because then you can look back and go, oh, I did this and that happened. Then I did it again and it happened again. So clearly, like there's a correlation there, like there's a causation there. So
Mhm.
so it when you do that, you can get very clear on what works for your body so
Hmm.
that you can decide with,
Hmm.
you have an education, you now have an educated way to decide to look at something and go, okay, I know that if I eat that or drink that, I'm going to have that reaction. Is it worth it? And then you
Right,
decide.
right, right. And some days it will be worth it, and some days it
Yeah,
won't, you know?
yeah,
And it's always that's what I think is so awesome about the menopause support group and conversations like this. Like it is all up to you. Like you get to decide, and there's no wrong to it. I always tell people like awareness is just the data that we use to make the next best decision. It's not, we don't need to judge it or be like, oh my gosh, I'm so horrible because I did this. It's like you did the best you could, you did what felt good to you at the moment, and as long as it's good for you and good, then do it. um so yeah, it's a definitely a work in progress for a lot of the ladies I know, because we've lived so long for other people and taking care of other people and doing all that kind of stuff. But really starting to recognize, and I would challenge every single person watching this video, like use this time as we're moving into the fall and the winter as a new kind of way to look at it, right? And whatever happened the last 40, 50 years, like it matters, but it doesn't in this particular case. Like you get to rewrite the script if you choose to, or modify the script, whatever your particular case might be, to get different results. And there's no one way to do it. But it's definitely that awareness and moving forward.
absolutely. I so
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Well, this has been a really great conversation. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's any other questions that we had that you wanted to talk about, or if we want to.
No, I'm good. Now I will be sure this week I didn't ask a question in the group to cover for the live, but I will be sure to ask one on Monday, or one of us will be sure to ask one on Monday, and maybe we'll ask a couple, we'll see.
You never know. You never know.
So if you would like your voice heard, please be sure to respond on those not emails, on those posts in the Facebook group, and we will be back here next week, a week from today, and we'll discuss your answers to the questions, whatever that question is. We don't know yet. We'll see.
Whatever the questions are. Yeah. 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 Always great to see you, Eliza.
Same to you. Puppy whistle.
See you
When
guys
she's ready
next
to be
week.
held, she's ready to be held. Yes, thank you guys so much for being here with us today, and we will see you next week. Have a great week. Bye, everyone.
Bye. She's awesome.